Are you wanting to move to North Idaho and you see a piece of land you love, but you're not ready to move right now? Stick around in this video. We're going to show you how to buy now and build later with an expert from Loan Depot.
Hey, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, tap the notifications bell so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. Our real estate team gets calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you trying to learn more about North Idaho. So if you're looking to move right now, 12 months from now, it doesn't matter. Give us a call. Let's get that conversation started.
All right, welcome to North Idaho Experience. We got Ivan Pinchick back from Loan Depot with us today. And we're getting a lot of calls right now, just to jump right into it. We have a lot of people calling right now saying that they want to move to North Idaho, but they're not quite ready, right? They're retiring in a couple years. Their family situation doesn't dictate they move right now, but what they're worried about is finding the piece of heaven, the slice of heaven that they want now, because they're seeing land get bought up. So in today's video, we kind of want to talk about how people could potentially secure the land that they see now before prices go up, before land gets bought up, and be able to build or secure their nest egg for later on. Now, the cool thing about this too is that the one thing that is really driving in price up here is land. There's only so much more left. So for people to be able to secure something now at a decent price, well, I don't even know if you'd call it a decent price now. I think things have gone up enough. But to be able to secure something now and be able to build on it later, or develop it later, is a big question a lot of people are calling to ask about. So I'd love to know options if people have the money right now, but aren't necessarily ready to build.
Can I pause you? I want to paint a scenario of where this has happened many times for us in the past, because we have a lot of guys, I'm sure, out there listening, retire or currently working as cops, firefighters, in the military, thinking about relocating to North Idaho when you retire because you live in a communist state. I'm sorry. I know, but it pays better there, so that's good. We understand.
Yeah.
But you're not going to retire for like 5 years. And in 5 years, prices are going to go up more and more because the buyer demand here is huge right now, obviously for good reasons. It's the freest and the safest state in America. So what we have guys reaching out that are like, hey, I'm retiring in 5 years. I want to buy this piece of land. I've got a little bit of cash sitting on the side, but I'm not ready to build yet. Like, what's the process look like? Is that a good idea? So that's why we brought Ivan on. And you can kind of break down what that looks for us, my man.
Cool. No, I think it's a great idea because, to your point, right, the land's just going to keep going up. If the housing market is going up, the land's going to go up just as well. And I think if you have the ability to secure that piece of heaven, right, in North Idaho especially, you should do it. Because there's different options. You can secure the land now, whether you buy cash and you just pay it off cash. I mean, if you have that, that's easy. You don't have any monthly payments. The property tax is going to be much lower than if you have a single family home or a compound on it. And then if if you're not that lucky, or if you need to sell your house but you can't sell it yet because you're going to stay in communist state for another 2, 3, 5 years. What you can do is you can get a land loan, and that's a very similar process to just like getting a regular loan. We're gonna do an appraisal. You're gonna see the comps to make sure the land is worth what it's quote unquote selling for today. And then down the road, when you are ready to move, or you sold your house, you're retiring, or you're just relocating, there's a couple different options that you can actually do. And for instance, if you bought it cash, great. You just get a construction loan, easy peasy in that sense. In terms of getting a loan, right? Now, the hard part, which you guys can discuss, is, the permitting and getting the land ready to actually build on it. If you do have a loan on the land, you bought it with the loan, and now you need another loan for the construction part of it, well, that's totally fine. There's different ways you can do it. You can just get a construction loan. You can get a construction loan that's going to absorb the land loan.
So I think that's the big one. A lot of people are hesitant to buy land right now because they don't understand that you can own the land now and you can do a rollover and you can do some options at a further date to turn that into a construction loan or use that land as equity per se, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so I think that's a big question that people have is like, if I do secure it now, if I buy vacant land now, or if I buy it cash, whatever else, obviously we can talk about the appreciation of that it's going to be an investment anyways, but what are the best options for them if they do buy the land, either cash or a loan, how do they turn that over and use that as equity, or at least towards the purchase of new construction or building a home?
If they do what?
Like to turn around and take that land that they already own and get a construction loan with it.
So is that the one if they have a loan on that land? So, I mean, Seth, it's actually pretty similar to what you just went through. You had a house. You decided you're going to completely just build a brand new house on it. We absorbed that loan, turn around. You got a construction loan, right? And now you're refinancing to get it in typical, regular, conventional loan for a lower rate.
Yep.
So if you have land and you have a loan on it, what I would strongly recommend before you go and apply for a construction loan, have all your ducks in a row. Have your permits ready, have the plans ready, because we're going to have to get those approved. Whoever your builder is or a contractor, they have to be vetted as well. So there's, depending on, with Loan Depot, we have over 300 products. We work with a lot of different lenders and brokers where we can outsource if they have better rates or pricing at that moment. But with each bank, there's different guidelines. So for contractors and builders, you want to make sure you have someone that's reputable, has experience, and have all their license, their bonds, and insurance in place. So before you go and apply for a construction loan, I would strongly recommend having all that ready. So once you get approved, you're good to go and we can close on a loan. Because what happens is if you start the process and you want to get a quote unquote construction loan, we're not just approving you. We're approving your property, your land. We're also going to need to approve your builder. And so you don't want to go and apply for a loan before everything else is ready. And as we know, sometimes permits can take a while.
Yeah. And so ultimately, in layman's terms, they can, if you have a land loan on something, you've been paying on it for 5 years because you wanted to buy that piece of property way ahead of time before prices went up, you guys they don't have to go get a completely separate loan to build. They can actually roll those into one, correct?
Correct. And then I think to your question earlier too, if you bought land, 5 years from now, it's going to grow in equity. So you're going to have that buffer in there that's actually going to help you out with your loan to value when you do the construction loan. I would say in a perfect world, personal opinion on this, if you can buy land first and then go get all your ducks in a row, the builder, the permit, everything else, well, it's almost, in my opinion, it's easier to do it that way because then you're not in a rush and you're not depending if someone's out of town from the county office for 2 weeks, now you got to wait on your permits and that can push you from your rate lock or something else. So, it's not a bad idea at all. If you have that ability to buy the land and you don't have to rush to try to build something, it's almost easier and a lot less stressful to buy the land, get everything ready, turn around and then do the construction loan. Whether you want a construction loan, whether you want to absorb it, there's different options in that as well.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when our construction loan, at least, it was interest only throughout the length of the loan, and then once the home's complete, it switches over to a conventional mortgage. And the beauty in that is the first, however many months, you're only paying on what the contractors are drawing out. So the first, even 6 months were really low payments because they hadn't pulled the bulk of the loan out to fund all the subcontractors. So I really liked that because, especially if you're living somewhere else and paying rent or whatever while you build or another mortgage, at least you have, that you have months of relatively low payments, at least until the end, and then it switches over.
And that's a great point. So typical construction loans will work as a draw system. Mm-hmm. And so, you hit stage one. There's some verification, making sure, hey, everything was completed that was part of stage one. Then you get the second draw. And so your payment, especially like you were saying, Seth, the first 6 months, it was very low. Mm-hmm. And then it got a little higher once the second draw hit, and then a little higher once the third draw hit. And so it's great because, in your case, you did have 2 payments.
Right.
You were paying for that, and you had to pay to live somewhere for about, was it a year?
A year.
Yeah. So I think the draw is amazing because it does save you. It's almost like a credit line. You're only going to pay on what you're using.
Got it. Well, I think that's, when we moved up here, that was, that was one of the fears too. If we're ever going to build, I'm like, I felt like I had to wait until I was ready to do it all. And then as you're watching, right now we have a bunch of different parcels that people love because there's not a lot of 5-acre properties with natural gas, water, electricity, paved roads, all that stuff in, high-speed internet, right? There's quite a few of those developments right now that won't be here in 5 years. And their proximity to town is really, really good. And we have a lot of people call and ask, but the first thing they say is, I'm really interested in this, but I'm not ready to build. And so trying to be able to bridge that gap to let people know that if you have the financial capability to take on a land loan payment, or you have the cash in hand, you received an inheritance and you want to invest it somewhere, an investment in real estate has, I will say, has always been a good thing. And here's why. If you look at any billionaire, any millionaire, anybody that makes a ton of money, every single one of them is invested in some sort of real estate. So, by buying a piece of land that's $350,000 today, if in 5 years you decide, you know what, this wasn't the right choice for us, we want to go somewhere else in North Idaho or anything, you can turn around and sell that and likely make a profit because it's just going to continue
100%.
to go up, right? Especially as communities around you develop and you have that last lot. So, but there is a way to do it now, which is good. And that's what we want people to know.
Yeah. Anything further on that before we dive into a couple other things?
No, I mean, just to add to Dave's point, if you want to buy just a piece of land, it doesn't always have to be a land loan. You can use your retirement for it. You can use your investments. There's ways to use your investments. For example, if you have a lot of stocks, and you don't want to sell them because you see the stocks going up, there's ways to use that money, and then you basically are paying yourself back. And that's why my wife always says who you work with matters, because most loan officers are just going to look at a land loan and say, here you go.
Very one-dimensional.
Yeah, that's the easy answer.
Because it's an easy answer, and unfortunately a lot of people in my industry are more order takers, and versus where my team, we like to look at, and see what's the cheapest route and the best, most beneficial route for a client. So just because you ask for a land loan doesn't mean we're going to give you a land loan. We're going to present the options, and then we're going to let you choose. At the end of the day, it's coming out of your pocket, so you get to decide what you want to pay for. But there's options, and that's, again, going to Raina's point. She always says who you work with matters, because you want to work with someone with the experience and who's not going to take just your demands or your order, because most people are not in our industry. They don't understand that.
Right. And you've taken out just about every type of loan that there is.
Yeah, we have. I've been through the gamut.
Yeah, regular, conventional, building. What was it? A bridge
line.
loan.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh man, you guys have done it all.
We've done it all.
All right, what else do you have?
I want to talk about VA stuff. We have a lot of VA listeners out there. That's veterans. Can they buy land with a VA loan? First off.
Not just land.
Not just land. Okay. So know that. You'd have to find another way, but there are plenty of other options out there. I mean, a conventional loan is not going to be a whole lot different.
I would say, don't be discouraged.
Okay.
And if anyone calls our team, we don't charge for a phone call or consultation. So just ask. I always live by, it doesn't hurt to ask. And if you have an idea, or if you think, hey, does it work this way or that way, just give us a call, or, and we'll be more than happy to go through it. And if that doesn't work, we'll find an option that does.
Okay. Now, what about, oh, sorry, you got something on
No,
that?
and I was going to say too, like a lot of people will say, well, I don't know Loan Depot, but I'm going to use, US Bank is a big one, or that's who I bank with. My biggest advice for people, and this, I tell people all the time that come to me and they say, oh, I have a lender down in San Diego, or I have whatever. Unless it's your best friend or your spouse or a family member, I get that. And I'm not trying to draw you away from somebody else, but something that I have noticed is that many, many times people don't understand all the costs associated with lending, right? So I constantly tell people, look, just take it to Ivan and Raina, let them look at it. If they can't beat it, it's not worth you paying more per month to use Ivan and Raina just because you feel like you should, right? It's about making sure that the money that you're putting up front, which people don't recognize a lot of times, lenders fees, loan processing fees, origination fees, all that stuff, that's actually what's driving them to get a lower rate when they put that same amount up front with you guys. A lot of times you end up beating those rates. And you guys have been great doing that for people. So I always encourage people, get a second opinion on it, have somebody else look at the rate sheet. And truthfully, I don't mind pitching you guys up against people, right? Let you guys compete and see if you can do better for the client.
And let me throw this out there, because if you come to us and you want to buy a home up here and you tell us you're going to use Rocket Mortgage, we're not going to be friends anymore. We're going to fight, because I cannot stand Rocket Mortgage.
Terrible.
They're terrible. I let one person start about 6 months ago down the Rocket Mortgage line. First weekend in, we had a crisis during the weekend. Impossible to get a hold of anyone there. And I was like, and then boom, we switched to Ivan Arena. You guys got it done. So know that. Don't use Rocket Mortgage.
I would also, and I will add today, we've done it with you guys, with your groups, where, man, every once in a while, the rate, the pricing, the program is just so great. We just tell you, hey, take it and run with it. Lock it in, run with it. I'm not going to convince anyone to work with us.
And you're referring to like specific like specials that some bank might be running for whatever, a promotion, right?
Correct.
Right.
There's promotions, there's specials. I mean, Loan Depot, we do the same thing as well on different loan products at different time of the year. So it happens. Anyone that says I always have the best rates, they're full of it. We're very honest up front. And every once in a while, I'm like, I don't know how you're getting that rate. I don't know how they locked you in it, but you should not talk to any other lender. Just run with it. Good. And then the one other thing I would like to add to that, when you're moving up here, so I came from Southern California, or Southern Communist California. When you're moving up here, when I was in LA and my clients were moving somewhere else, they're like, oh, I'm going to use a local lender because a local realtor told them it's better. And I'm like, bullshit. We're all the same. We can do it all. It doesn't matter. Moving up here, it's so different from California. And there's so many things that my wife and I have learned in the last 4 years that I'm like, I can see why it's very important to use a local lender. A lot of markets are very different. North Idaho and the LA market are completely different. Sure, you're going from LA to San Francisco, probably very close, similar markets. You're going from LA to North Idaho is very different. So again, who you work with.
And just for
matters.
translation, he said LA to North Idaho.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know where you were coming from.
Oh. Just
wait. Can we? I gotta go back. Dave's mocking you. Can we go back to the VA loans one more time? Construction loans. Can you use VA benefits for a construction loan?
You can. Okay. So it's not. And I'll be honest, most lenders or banks do not like VA construction loans, and they won't offer them. Okay. But it's not impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would that be like zero down? Kind of same thing?
You can, but you have to have all your ducks in a row. So you're doing a one-time close. You're buying the land, you're buying the loan. It's all, or you buying the land, getting a construction loan. It's all in one big loan. But those are difficult, and not a lot of lenders.
And do you guys offer those?
Do we know?
You guys don't.
Yeah.
Well, now I wish I didn't bring it up. Real good.
Yeah, just cut it out.
We're done here.
But there's a reason for
it.
it.
Hey, where's Bob?
We're done here.
Where's Bob?
So for people that have VA benefits, because VA is always, I get people that call and say like, oh, I want to use a VA loan. I'm like, well, what's your situation? And if they come in and they say, well, I'm putting $200,000 down on a $500,000 house, I usually tell them VA may not be the best option for you, right? The big draw to VA is that you can do 0% down. If that's what you're shooting for, a lot of times I see that being the best option. But same thing for construction loans. Is VA, when you compare it in terms of rates and benefits, how does it compare to conventional construction loans?
Typically, VA has better rates. Now, with that being said, VA is not always the answer. Sure, you're buying your first home, you're 100%, you don't have closing costs. Let's go VA. But if you're putting a big down payment, then VA might not be the best option, because if you have the funding fee, then that funding fee might not make it worth to go VA to save $100 a month if it's going to take you 7 years to break even. Right. Versus if you have a big down payment. We have a client that we're refinancing, locked them in this week. He was in conventional, but we found out he's a veteran, so we took a look at it. It was 3% of the loan amount that was going to be added to the loan.
Whoa. For VA?
For VA. Whoa. For a VA funding fee. And a VA funding fee, it's not decided by a lender. It's decided by the VA. So, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, why would we do this? He's at 65% loan to value. There's no need for him to do that and add 3% of the loan amount to his loan.
How much was the home?
How much was the home?
Or
the loan was $400,000.
So he'd have to add another $12,000 to his loan. Jeez.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to, we're not order takers. when you come with a problem, or you come with a question, or you come with an idea as a client, we're going to listen to it. But the biggest thing we listen to is, what's the main objective? What are you trying to get to? And if the route you picked or you think is the best route, if it is the best route, great, let's do it. If there's something else, a better way, a cheaper way, then we're going to present that as well for you to look at.
Got it.
Beautiful. That was very informative. We appreciate it. Any other topics we want to hit before I close this
just
out?
if you are, if you're looking, if that's you and you're like, man, I would love to secure, I see land right now. You're looking for this area. You know that you're going to move up here. You're finding a piece of land. You want to build. You want to do something on it. There's ways to secure it now and eventually turn around and build later. So, don't let that hold back, because that's the biggest thing that we're running into with people that want to build or find their own slice of paradise or have their compound or whatever it is. There are ways to secure it now and use that as either collateral or roll that into a construction loan down the road.
So if you guys want to get connected with Ivan and Raina, their contact info will be in the show notes, or reach out to us directly and we will connect you. And you guys can at least have that conversation with them and see if they're a good fit for you. His wife is much better looking than him and smarter. So probably you can't deny that.
I can't.
Yeah. A couple housekeeping items I wanted to hit real quick. If you're watching this video, you may notice that we are in a brand new spanking room right here. This is the new studio. This is the first video in the new studio with the new custom built table by our good friend Tim Henry. I'm just really jazzed to be in here. The other thing I wanted to hit on, because this question has come up recently, we've had people call us and say, hey, I'm a first-time home buyer, but looking at your website, it looks like you guys only do luxury homes, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like we do it all. In fact, we love first-time home buyers. Walking you guys through that process and seeing the excitement on your eyes when you get into your first home is like the coolest feeling for all of us on this team. So it doesn't matter what level you're at. Please hit us up. We'd love to represent you guys on that. And remember, if you're looking to move right now, 12 months from now, give us a holler. Let's get that conversation started.